let's get to what we're talking about. I just wanted to come and talk to folks about the end of the year.
End of the year, end of the year. So, when you reflect back on 2024,
You
were you
asking me?
like,
You asking?
I'm just saying in general, we're going
Hmm.
to take a pause and say, okay, when I look back on 2024, what do I feel like? What is the first word that comes to mind when you think about 2024?
Mm,
One
what
word,
one word that comes? It's not a word, it's a sound.
a sound. Okay. Okay. Let's go with that sound. Like that.
Yeah.
So is that a deep sigh of relief?
It's been a
Is that a
tremendous.
sigh of accomplishment? Like,
Is that the
whoo,
is
I
that a
made it?
is that a word? Tremendous?
No, you
Do you know
may
the
not.
word I'm trying to say? Man,
No.
it's been a
Tremendous,
year. No, it's
tremendous,
more powerful than tremendous.
triumphant.
That would be a good one. Triumphant. Yeah, so that would be. So I don't know if I could say triumphant or what, but that would be my word for 2024. Do you have a word that you could use?
Um, I would say one word that I could kind of use is maybe educated. This was definitely a year of learning, growing uh, for me. I participated in quite a few programs and learned a lot, became a mentor. And so I was learning from my mentees as well. So it was just a whole thing of just learning from the people that we help on a daily basis,
Hmm.
just making me to be stronger.
Okay. So do you hear the music?
No,
Oh, man. Okay. So for you, it's a year of strength,
learning, strength
learning.
and learning. Hmm.
Okay. A year of strength and
Yeah,
learning. All right.
yeah.
So let me see what I can say. I want to add that too here. So what else can we talk about for the year? It did. Big question is, did you set goals and did you track them through the year and have you met the goals that you set?
I would say yes. So, as you usually say, it's a combination of yes and no. So,
Okay.
did I have goals at the beginning of the year? Absolutely. Everybody
Okay.
should write down before the year starts.
Hmm.
What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? So, of course, I write down, I want to make $5 million.
Oh,
you know,
all right.
I
So did
mean,
you meet that
yeah,
goal?
not quite.
Okay.
So, I believe that I am a woman of faith and God put me where I was supposed to be. So number one, I had my own goals and stuff, and God was like, no, as stated earlier, I was, a year of growth for me, a year of learning, a year of growth. So it was like, okay, so even though um I had these goals, I believe that God said, made me take a little pause and say, well, let's just kind of restructure. Let's make sure that we are on a solid foundation for your business. And so it was a lot of learning. And that's what I was saying, a year of growth and learning, setting my foundation so that when I am catapulted into, you know, the next level, I have a solid foundation. There's no pivot. We've got all of our organization, operational, all of those things together.
Okay.
What
Okay.
about
Well,
you?
thank year of growth and learning for Sandra. So what about me? What's the question again? I don't remember.
Did you meet your goals? Did
Oh,
you
it's
set
scrolling right there at
goals?
the bottom. Did I meet my goals for the year? So I would say yo to the noobs, but no, yo is yes and no. Uh, I didn't do a good job this year of tracking the goals, right? Really setting concrete goals in stone or concrete things that I wanted to accomplish. And I feel like that is something that caused me to not be as focused as I have been in the past. I had a lot of, some people will call distractions that came up throughout the year that forced me to adjust the goals, but not intentionally. Right. So based on what was going on in my personal life, I should have adjusted my goals and wrote those adjustments down. Where in my mind, I still had the things I want to accomplish without the distractions that caused me more frustration than I should have had as I reflect on it. Right. This is live and we're talking about it right now. So as I reflect on it, I should have adjusted my goals to reflect the new life that I have and how things are going. So I would say that yes and no, right? I just should have adjusted my goals, and it should have been a year of adjustment.
I
Ah,
would say that. I would say that. I would say that you um kind of beat yourself up because you had the goals in your mind of what you wanted to accomplish, but priorities take precedent to what was written down on paper at the beginning
okay.
of January or the end of December.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that once you sit down and reflect on what happened and what you had to endure and how you participated in and endured those and being there for your family allowed you to feel accomplished in what you put out there. I think
Okay.
that sometimes we try to beat ourselves up because we didn't accomplish what we put down on the paper. But in
Right.
fact, it was more important to be where you were at during that time.
True.
So
True.
bravo to you. Hats
Well,
off because
thank
there
you.
was a lot happening. And yeah. So what so given that you went through everything that you did, what life lesson would you give to people, entrepreneurs who are about the same age as us that are enduring life happening, being in the sandwich generation in which you are taking care of your aging parents as well as your family, your children, and things like that? What advice would you give to an entrepreneur for that?
Mm. Work on systems, man. Work on systems. When you have systems in place, it allows you to have a totally different life. The reason why franchises are so successful is because you're buying a system that has been proven to be duplicatable, profitable, and predictable. And as entrepreneurs, I think a lot of people, like you always talk about, become entrepreneurs out of frustration for their current situation, and it stumbles or snowballs into something more. So I think that the first thing, the main thing that I would give as a life lesson is not try, because you know, do your best to
But
put
don't you
systems
try.
right. Do your best to put systems in place, because when you begin to run the system will run the business.
And another, just to add on to that, um, we want to make sure that the system can run without you.
Oh,
So, in case you need to step away for personal reasons, mental health, anything, vacations, you know, life experiences, graduations, and stuff like that, that all things don't stop because you had to step away. So it is very important to have systems and people in place that you trust that will be able to continue the goals that you set out for the year without you.
and I think what's interesting is that as middle class or working people evolve into entrepreneurs, they take the working class middle income
Oh, yes.
mindset to that business, and it's destined to fail. Where they say 7 or 8 out of 10 businesses that are listed for sale today won't sell because of the things that we're talking about. And the main thing is a system that is able to run without you being a part of it. I met a gentleman back before I exited the Marine Corps who at one time owned 5 Goodyear tire stores on the West Coast. Based on what was going on in the economy and riots and things like that, he only had 2 remaining when I met him. And he opened the business and closed the business in both locations.
And he took great pride in that.
Oh my goodness, yes, because I'm a working class American, right? And had his family involved. And when you entrepreneurs, I'm talking to you, when you get your family involved in your business, that's your dream, that's your vision, that is your product. They really don't want to be bothered with it. That's why it's so important for you to build a system around your business so that you can possibly sell it to make money from it. So going back to this gentleman on the West Coast, I don't even know how to start, but he ran the business himself, where as you go, if you talk to the management at all Goodyear tire centers across the country and ask them, can I talk to the owner? Whoever's the manager is at that time is going to look at you like, what are you talking about? The owner, he owns 7 stores and he's not here at this one, right? Because there are certain entrepreneurs or a certain mindset that people take to these things and say, hey, I'm going to make a small amount of money from this store and duplicate that over and over and over again. They say that the average ownership for a not Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts is they own 7 to 12.
Right.
Because the net profit that they receive from one store is not enough to retire.
Sustain. Yeah.
Right.
I think so as we talk about people that have the brick and mortars, I think that when they go into it, I think number one, they need to know the numbers before they jump into it. Most cases they are, thinking that, okay, this brick and mortar, whatever it is going to generate so much money. And we'll say it generates $2 million a year. But you've got to know how much it takes to operate that, how much is the current owner or paying themselves, or what is the average take home of a franchisee. And it's nothing wrong. We really like franchisees because they already have the systems in place. Whereas if you are a new startup, you have to create everything. And in most cases, you are reactive instead of proactive in terms of things. But if you are thinking about getting a franchise, please think about obtaining more than one. Don't be stuck because you'll be limited. And as Asa said, most cases you're taking a portion from each one, the net profit from each one, which will get you to your $100,000 salary or something like that.
Right. You're not able to take it all from one because you become the system and you don't have a system in place. You just have a revenue stream that you have to manage and keep up the maintenance with all the time. So yeah, these are just some of the things that we talk about with other business owners that we work with in our private practice because it's important. The other day, I put a post out, Sanja, I don't know if you saw it, where I was asking if as the CEO of your life, if you would hire yourself for 2025. Right? Now, as the CEO of your life business, we're all CEOs. We're all COOs, chief executive officers, chief operating officers. We're all founders by default.
So I think that let's pause on that. I know that you were asking a question is, would you hire or fire yourself? But let's go deeper into if you are an adult, if you have a home, I won't say a home, but if you are really just a person that is operating, working, going to work each day or whatever, you are the CEO of your life. And I want you just to think about that. If you are paying bills that, that translate into operating. How are you operating your household? Are you in bankruptcy? Are you just barely making it? Are you all putting some money aside? Like really thinking about that and what things that you do to get yourself in a operating your life as a business and thinking about that. And also, when you think about that, when you're thinking about moving into entrepreneurship, a lot of times people take their personal lifestyle, their personal feelings about money and how they operate that. And then they take it and try to put it into a business setting and it doesn't work, like paying bills late, you know, being slow pay, all of those things. But we'll go back to what you were talking about. But what we're talking about does translate into operating your own life as a CEO. And how are you doing? And a lot of times people think that once you become a business owner, you stop learning. You have to continue to learn, even if you are just operating as a CEO of your life. You have to continue your learning process throughout your whole life. There are different trends that happen, and we don't want to miss the boat. And so, even if you don't jump at that moment, just continue to learn. But you were saying, I'm sorry, that was kind of a pivot, but
No, that's totally
wanted just
fine.
people to talk about that. But okay, so would I hire myself for 2025 or
So,
would I fire myself?
right, people don't know, like, if you own one share or a quarter share of stock, you're going to get mail from the company because you're an insider. And some of the mail you're going to get is information or paperwork for your vote for the
Mhm.
different people who are on the board.
Right.
And, you get to hire or fire these
Fire.
people or bring someone else in. So that is something that, it's a shift, it's a paradigm shift that people have to go through because we are running a company and that's your own life. So in that shift, you are the CEO, the operator, the owner of the company, but you are also a shareholder. And as a
Hmm.
shareholder, you
Take
get
yourself
to
out, like change your hat.
exactly, and you get to choose whether or not you're going to hire the CEO again based on his or her, they or them, we based on their performance for the year.
Right.
Now, it is December 4th, 2024. Would you rehire that executive?
Well, I would say yes, I would rehire me.
Okay,
I
that's
think
good.
that we have to sit down. Yesterday we did an exercise about what were our accomplishments just in our whole life. It was just a list of 30. And just to make our life a little easier, I did break it down into what were your accomplishments, like 5 from grammar school, 5 from high school, 5 from college, and then the rest were um, adults. And it is hard to write that list because, well, it was a little difficult for me. It was because I'm always forward thinking. I'm always looking for what were my next goals? And oftentimes we forget what we've done in the past. And so the whole point of the exercise was to realize, look what you've accomplished, look what you've done. And so that I always tell people this, and when they're trying to pay off debt, and they still feel like they're in debt and they were like, I haven't done anything yet. You get to look and see how many bills you've checked off, how many have you crossed out. And this was the same exercise. And looking at your accomplishments, like, oh, look, you completed that entrepreneurship program. You reached this milestone in your business of making 200,000, 400,000, or whatever, and then before you set your goals for next year. So I
So,
think that was good. I'm sorry.
no, it was a great exercise. The
Yes.
question
And
is, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
The question was, would you hire or fire yourself? And so
Right.
you do the exact same thing. what were your goals for this past year? Did you accomplish them? Or maybe remember if you had your goals from earlier in it, put them aside, but then write down everything that you accomplished this year. And if you haven't, I guess if you could look at what you've accomplished, even if you did not accomplish those goals that you set out at the beginning of the year, you'll be able to see all of the things that you have accomplished. Some people, it may be just, hey, I got to work before at 9 o'clock every single day,
Right.
you know,
Right. Just as
other
little as
people,
that. It doesn't have to
right,
be anything large. Just what are you looking to accomplish and
right,
what small things can you put into place? Because as you move through those small things, they're all accomplishments. And there's something called momentum,
right,
and it allows you to build momentum. Hey, I'm going to wake up at 7 o'clock this morning, where you normally wake up at 8:20, right? Or if you go into work and you need to be there by 9 o'clock, there's traffic.
yes,
It's not the traffic's fault that you're late. It's your fault that you're late because you didn't leave
right,
12 minutes earlier. So once you start doing these small things, that allows you to build momentum. And we're getting a little off track a little bit, but I just want to end with this section. Would you hire yourself? Sandra says yes.
yes.
I come from a military, beat yourself up environment. So I don't know if I would hire myself. I'm on probation. So we'll see
And you
how
know
that
what? If
probationary
you,
period goes.
yeah, and if you are on probation, when you are in the corporate world, you create a action plan to
Right.
get yourself off of probation. And so if that's the case, write your action plan. What
Cool.
is it that you need to do to get off of probation? What would make you feel accomplished? As we said, small things. Hey, showing up early for that meeting, being prepared for that meeting, um, answering all calls or returning all of your people that call you within um, 24 hours,
Hold on,
not like,
hold on,
hey, I
hold
know
on,
you
hold on, hold on. Say that again. Answering all calls.
answering all calls, um, showing up early for meetings, being prepared for meetings, doing research on your clients before you come to the meeting. So you're not just learning about them the first time. Look, most people are posting on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Get to know your clients before your customers, before potential customers before the meeting.
Yeah.
Um, and look at your goals, like really go back and reflect on what goals you had each and every week. So don't just throw them up at the beginning, but have quarterly meetings with yourself, weekly meetings with yourself, whatever you're comfortable with, but put it on the calendars so that you can really go back and check. Now, what you about to say?
I would like to call this meeting to order. Okay. Is everyone present?
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Are you early or late?
I was early, but you were late. Right.
Right.
And these are things that lead to success. These are breadcrumbs. We're not making this stuff up. We're borrowing these principles from those who have become successful before us. They tell you to plan your day the night before.
Right.
How many of you are doing that? What are you thinking about when you go to sleep? Are you thinking positive things, right? They say that we are able to program our life, and life doesn't happen to us. It comes through us and from us. So I almost started getting on a tangent over there, but let's see, what can you do? It's the last couple of weeks before the end of the year. What is it? How many days? It's 31 days in December.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? 27 days left. Let me count it. Wait a minute. 27 days left before the end of the year. Now, are those actual days? No, because people have shut down. In my past life, Sandra, Christmas and New Year's have always been a time where I have springboarded my business and propelled myself further than other people because everybody else is vacationing and shutting down. I'm normally on probation at the end of the year because of the goals that I set for myself. So I spend a lot of time planning and projecting on how can I improve. And most people are in party mode. So if you're not happy with the success or the progress that you made for the year, consider changing what you do and build a new habit.
I love it. And like I said, and I just want to add this. You can put yourself on probation while other people are looking at you thinking that you've done way more than them.
Whoa.
But you have your own set of goals, and you have to be really conscious of understanding the difference between admirers or people that are looking and like, oh, they're doing a great job, and what you are wanting for your life. And when you think about what it is, don't get off track. It's okay if you put yourself on probation and someone else is giving you accolades. Don't stop. Continue to be on your own path so that you can grow your business your own way.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. I didn't end the recording, but that was good. I think that was real good. We got a couple segments, so we'll see how it's chopped up. I'm going to put it in the Taja thing and see what happens. But
Okay.
what do you think about that?
I thought it was good. I think you have a lot of clips that you can use, for me and you, just sound bites that we can get out there. Positive things just to get people thinking. I think you have enough to put out a week's, even 2 weeks worth of clips, maybe.
All right. So we'll see.